All right, new product update, and this one's a first for us. I think it's a first for the market. JLJTs, you have a Rubicon, you have Gladiator, you have anything that's JLJT model. They made a change when they designed the new Jeep. That was a step backwards. The rear axle outer pinion bearing, only the rear axle outer pinion bearing, rather than the traditional taper roller bearing that's been working for years and years and years. They switched to one of these guys, which is an angular contact ball bearing, ACBB. And it's got this funny race that has these two little grooves, and it has all these balls with plastic races, and it sits in here. This is the outer pinion bearing on only the rear axle. Lots of people have been having problems with these ACBB bearings because they have these tiny little points of contact, both on the race and on the bearing. They don't handle the increased load very well. We've been doing re-gears on Gladiators and JLs now for a few years. We've been seeing unmodified stock ones come in that have rear pinion noise, and we pull these apart and these bearings are failing. It's a really common problem. Lots of people on the internet are having this problem. So we came up with a solution. Get rid of these ACBB bearings and go with the tried and true tapered roller bearing that has way more contact patch. It has a metal race. These things are way tougher. They handle better load. They handle the bigger tires. They've been proven for decades and decades. So live on the website right now. We have models for both the M200 rear end, which some people consider a Dana 35, and then for the M220 rear end, which is kind of almost a Dana 44. So we have solutions for both. Make sure you double check if you have the big axle or the small axle in the rear. And what you're going to be getting is you're going to be getting either a Timken or a Koyo, very high-end tapered roller bearing. And we also have stainless shim spacers, custom made depending on which axle you have. They're a lot thicker than your normal shim spacer. They're ground down to a specific thickness, and you replace the outer pinion bearing. This spacer goes on the outside of it, and then you put your yoke on, which means if you've already done a re-gear or you don't want to gut the whole thing, you don't have to reset up your entire rear end. You don't have to replace the crush sleeve. You don't have to do any of that. I mean, you do have to set your preload again, but you don't have to completely start over to replace this bearing. If you're doing a new install or new gears or anything like that, obviously you throw away your ACBB bearing. You use our replacement bearing that comes with the stainless shim, set it up like you normally would. Everything is fine. So we have these in stock. We have the Timken bearings and races. We have the stainless shims for both the M200 and the M220. So you can ditch these little chintzy plastic spacer, bullshit jobs. Go with the tried and true and not have to worry about your rear axle making a bunch of noise, chewing these bearings up, etc., etc. So those are live on the website. I'll drop some links down below. Have at it.